A judge just ordered that the president's former personal attorney, Michael Cohen, should be released from jail. NBC national security and justice correspondent Tom Winter is here. Tom, what can you tell us?
Well, Chris, the bottom line is that Michael Cohen by 2 p.m. tomorrow will be out of FCI Otisville. That's a federal prison complex in upstate New York. He'll be returning to his apartment here in Manhattan. His son will be picking him up. The judge asked that he have a COVID test taken before he leave that facility. And basically, we need to backtrack a little bit to get an understanding of why this happened today. A federal judge heard arguments over a temporary restraining order. This has to do with Cohen being sent back to jail last week. There were 8 terms that were presented to Michael Cohen when he went to the probation office last week. And generally, terms 2 through 8, which had to do with things such as electronic monitoring, that somebody had to do his grocery shopping for him, that he had to that he was able to meet with his attorneys, but as long as he had prior approval from probation and BOP officials, those type of terms, which are more general boilerplate terms from somebody that would be on release like this for Michael Cohen, he generally agreed to. There were some disputes that occurred, but basically the judge and Cohen's attorneys, as well as attorneys for the Justice Department, came to an agreement on most of those items. The real issue was the first clause, where Michael Cohen was prohibited from social media posts, from writing a book, from engaging in any sort of television appearances, etc. The judge found that inclusion of that clause was retaliatory to Michael Cohen for writing a book and trying to exercise his First Amendment rights. The judge said that in his over 21 years as a judge, that he had never seen such a clause presented to a defendant before. So the judge here essentially saying, look, I find that it was wrong to put that clause in there, that it did violate his First Amendment rights. And so as a result, he asked that Michael Cohen be released from jail effective 2 p.m. tomorrow. And what's going to happen from here, Chris, is that attorneys for the government, for the federal prosecutors and the Justice Department are going to get together with Michael Cohen's attorneys, and they're going to try to sketch out essentially a framework for that first clause. So Michael Cohen is still a prisoner. If he was in jail, obviously he can't just entertain reporters and meet with them whenever he wants to. He'd have to go through certain procedures. He'd have to, that would be regulated by the prison. It sounds like what's going to happen here is that the attorneys are going to get together and say, okay, what are the ground rules for him exercising his First Amendment rights? I think it's a safe bet, Chris, though, that book that he's been talking about is going to see the light of day. And obviously, Michael Cohen will see the light of day of his Manhattan apartment sometime by 3 p.m. tomorrow after he's released from prison.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.